From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Jonathan Jones reporting. Yemen's former President Ali Abdullah Saleh has been killed, his party confirmed Monday, as a video showing what appeared to be his corpse circulated on social media. Correspondent Ed Yeranian reports.
Former U.S. diplomat David Mack, now with the Middle East Institute, told VOA Saleh was one of the smartest political operatives in the Arab world, and the former president believed he had been unjustly driven from office by countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council in accord with the United States. Mack told VOA before news of Mr. Saleh's death, the former president wanted to have one chance to restore his reputation, which had been terribly, terribly damaged during the past decade.
He's gone from having the reputation of being the supremely capable political operator within Yemen to being somebody who was just out for personal power and was prepared to see tremendous suffering of Yemeni people in the process.
Edward Yeranian for VOA News, Cairo.
In a victory for President Trump, the Supreme Court decided Monday to allow his latest travel ban to remain in force while the legal fight continues in the lower courts. 7 of the justices ruled in favor of the administration. 2 said the partial stay on the ban should continue. The court did not give a reason for its decision. The travel ban is the third one Trump has issued. It bars most travelers from 8 countries: Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. 6 of those 8 countries are Muslim-majority nations. This is VOA News. For the first time since 2011, a United Nations official will be visiting North Korea, which has ramped up its nuclear and ballistic missile tests this year. Under-Secretary General for Political Affairs Jeffrey Feltman is expected to visit Pyongyang from December 5th to the 8th. The invitation was extended during the UN General Assembly meeting in September. The UN is working with the governments of Cameroon, Nigeria, and Chad to encourage communities to reintegrate rehabilitated ex-Boko Haram fighters and people held captive by the militant sect. But the initiative faces resistance, as correspondent Moki Edwin Kinzika tells us from northern Cameroon.
200 women and children said to be ex-Boko Haram militants are in a makeshift camp here at Kolofata on Cameroon's northern border with Nigeria. The women say most of them were captured and kept in the Sambisa forest and were subjected to rape and sexual slavery. Among the ex-militants is Maimuni Aji. She says her nightmare is not over. She says if she had not gone to buy food 2 weeks ago, she would have been killed in the fire that burned her house. Cameroon and the UN have been distributing seeds, goats, sheep and pigs to the returnees and asking their communities to welcome them. Moki Edwin Kinzaka for VOA News, Kolofata.
Britain and the European Union failed on Monday to reach a Brexit divorce deal, but their leaders remained optimistic that they would reach an accord within days. British Prime Minister Theresa May and the European Commission met in Brussels trying to set terms for Britain's exit from the EU on March 29, 2019. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro says his government will launch a cryptocurrency, also called a digital currency, to circumvent what he's calling a financial blockade by the U.S. government. The new currency will be called the Petro. The leftist leader talked about it in a television address on Sunday. He said it will be backed by the socialist-run OPEC nations' oil, gold, and mineral reserves. He said that will allow Venezuela to advance toward new forms of international financing for its economic and social development. There's more on these and other late-breaking and developing stories from around the world, around the clock at voanews.com and on the VOA News mobile app. I'm Jonathan Jones reporting from the world headquarters of the Voice of America in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.